No. Geographically? Geographically. This is cool. So I would say make sure that pretty face is showing.
Yes, true.
They're going to want to see that fucking thing. They're going to want to see that fucking thing, Alan. That fucking face. You good? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another special episode of the Hyperconscious Meets Conversations Change Lives podcast. As you can see, we got Christmas in the background. We got Christmas on the table. I'm feeling very holiday worthy. And we're actually going to speak about some things today that have to do with holidays, have to do with New Year's, have to do with resolutions. They have to do with why people have to make resolutions. And also, we're going to go into a list of, the top 15 New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, so we both have an article up. Hello, everyone, by the way.
That's Alan.
Yep, this is me. So the article we have up is from Reader's Digest. It is called The 15 Most Popular New Year's Resolutions and How to Keep Them.
Yes.
We're going to go through them and talk about New Year's resolutions in general. Hopefully talk a little bit about the holidays. And let's do it.
So we were talking before about, Thanksgiving is a weird time because you go around and you realize what you're thankful for, right? But the rest of the year, you're just kind of all right with those things.
Yeah.
It takes a certain day for you to appreciate things, which is sad. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that too.
Yep.
But it makes me think. I think about things a lot more than people know. Just because I'm not posting I'm grateful for things doesn't mean I'm not grateful for them. I say what I'm grateful for 3 to 5 times a week before bed.
Love it.
It makes me happy. It helps me.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy doing that. I have been slacking on that for sure.
It's a great habit.
And you wonder why other areas of my life are falling apart. Not really. Not really. I'm kidding. But so I think that it's strange that you're almost okay being less than happy for the last couple months of the year because you know when a certain day comes, you're going to figure your shit out.
It's
and
weird.
You're going to get your shit together.
It's weird.
And it's so I think I read on here, what was it? What was the stat I said? 8% of people or 3% of people?
So let's Google it again.
I think Alan will pull up the stat, but
Yep.
I'll preface it with it's astronomically low percentage of people that actually follow through and succeed with their New Year's resolutions plans. What do you got?
So I just Googled most common New Year's resolutions, and Google pops up with the statistics. And so the statistics, just to break them down, stay fit and healthy is 37%. Lose weight is 32%. Enjoy life to the fullest is 28%. Spend less and save more, 25%. Spend more time with family and friends is 19%. I don't know where you found the stat, but I do think it was 8%.
I think it was 8%. So
yeah.
Does it make sense why only 8% succeed? It makes total sense to me because
Yeah.
I bet you 92% of people don't want to do what they're doing. Of course you're not going to succeed. You don't want to do it.
Yeah,
You waited all year to do it. How important can it really be?
exactly.
You're doing it out of necessity, not out of desire.
So they're doing it out of everybody's doing this.
Right.
Rather
You don't
than
wanna do it.
Yeah, because
You-
if you wanted to do it, you wouldn't wait.
Why do you get up and go to the gym at 6 in the morning? Because you fucking want to.
Because I want to, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's the most that I see that, and that makes me think if it takes a certain day for you to get motivated to do something, I don't think you need a New Year's resolution to do that. I think you need a New Year's resolution to just be more motivated.
Yeah.
You need to figure out why you're not motivated. That should be your New Year's resolution. Why am I not motivated to do the things I want to do?
So one thing that I've always found to be really crazy is you notice how on the weekends it seems like it's okay from your own mental perception to be not, I wouldn't say more lazy, but to do less.
Take your foot off the gas.
Isn't it right? Okay, so that's a great way to articulate it. Take your foot off the gas. I think that's habitual into us since a very young age.
Yeah.
We went to school Monday through Friday, for 12 years, and we had the weekends off, quote unquote.
Right.
And when you know in your own perception and your own subconscious mind that everyone's hanging out on the weekends, it's kind of like almost like it gives you a permission slip
Right.
to. Do you notice that in yourself?
For sure.
Yeah, I notice that in myself too, and I try to get rid of it because I think to myself like, there's 7 days in a week. I want to get after it all 7, right?
Right.
And I think 6 to 1 is a decent ratio too. Like if you take one quote unquote rest day, not just from the gym, but like an R&R day to really unwind,
Yeah.
get back to neutral. I think that makes sense. But I do notice, Friday evening comes around and if I'm hard at work at something I want to do, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, well, the fact that I'm even doing work at all is like
Right.
brownie points,
Right.
right? And it's your own head that's playing tricks on you. I think it's sort of the same deal with New Year's resolutions. It's like, well, everybody's doing it, so I feel obligated to do it, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to start a fresh
But
start
what a weird thing. You
Yeah.
can have a fresh start any day.
every day. Yeah. Imagine if you treated every day like Thanksgiving.
Right.
If you treated every day like a new year. Because it technically is, right?
Right.
It's a rolling funnel. It's
Yeah, it's,
every day is the first day of the rest of
it
your
might
life.
be a new year. It's only a new year from last year, from 365 days ago.
Yeah.
It's just another day from yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Everybody's waiting for that perfect opportunity, that perfect chance, that perfect time,
Yep.
when everything in their life is right, and that realistically doesn't.
Yeah.
It very rarely happens that way. I won't say ever because things happen all the time that I never
So
assumed would.
have you ever made a New Year's resolution that did stick?
I don't think I've ever made a New Year's resolution ever, ever, not once.
No kidding. All right.
Why?
I think I have.
I don't think I ever have.
Because I think there's a difference between relying on it and then like taking advantage of an opportunity to change.
I realized early on that if I don't want to change something, nothing is going to help me change that.
Interesting.
If I'm not willing to put in the work, nothing else really matters, realistically.
Okay, so what if you want to put in the work, but you're pulling at strings, so to speak, to try to get the motivation to even decide? Maybe New Year's is that string for people. I'm not.
No.
I'm a very against New Year's resolutions too. When it comes to like, if you want to change your life, do it today.
Right.
Today, everyone knows that, or if you know my stuff. But I am curious your take on.
No, and I want to make it clear and concise. I want it to be very, very clear that I don't dislike New Year's resolutions. If you're at the point in your life where you've been pulling at straws for a long time and maybe you haven't landed that thing yet, maybe you haven't figured out how to get fit or how to run a successful business, whatever it is, your New Year's resolution is, right? Say it's spend more time with family.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing.
It is.
Because you get lost in the day-to-day minutia and you realize, like, I've been working 60 hours a week for 50 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen my family as much as I want to.
50 out of 52, and then you're like, wow, 2017 was
Right.
not
All I
good
did
enough.
was work.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that if you take a giant look back on the year and you're not happy with what you did. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I think if it's October, you shouldn't be hammering candy down if you're not happy with where you are. And then saying, well,
because it's Halloween.
and then say, well, when New Year's comes around, I'll make that my resolution.
Yeah.
I always say, and this is
between a tool and a crutch,
Right,
an opportunity
right.
and a,
this is something that I'm guilty of, and I've done this in the past. And this is one of the quotes that I said before a long time ago that really made sense to me. But if you came to me and said, Kevin, I want to get into the best shape of my life, I will do anything. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yep.
And you said, I'm willing to start Monday. No, you're not. You're not willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
We're starting now. I've been guilty of that, so I'm not going to say I'm on my high horse here. Every time I say I'm going to do something, I do it. No,
Yeah.
for sure not. I have made more mistakes than most people have, but they've also led me to where I am, so they are blessings in disguise. But that's it right there. If you want to get fit, do it now.
Yeah.
Do it right this second.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to run a business, because you got to do that shit while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
'Cause
while
when
the emotion
Right.
is strong, when you have the feeling, I think, so Mel Robbins calls it activation energy, and I think that's a scientific term, so she doesn't necessarily call it. For those of you who don't know, Mel Robbins is an author of the 5-second rule. Kevin and I talk a lot about the 5-second rule, like getting out of the shower, we'll count down from 5 and like get out. So what it takes is something called activation energy to go from a thought to an action. And the quicker that you can train yourself to go from thought to action. What I said, like, for example, to some of my clients, like, as soon as you have the thought to go to the gym, get up and go.
Right.
That's why I say the 3 most important things to choosing a gym are, number 1, proximity. How close is it to your current position where you reside most of the time? Because when the mood strikes, you have to get up and go.
Yeah.
And honestly, the farther the distance is, the commute, the more activation energy it's going to take, which, by the way, you have very little at the beginning because you haven't developed the habit.
That makes sense.
Number 2 is 24/7. Needs to be a 24-hour gym. Seriously.
That's huge.
If you're going to get a gym membership, get a 24-hour one. I cannot even tell you how many times at the beginning of my fitness journey I went at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep. And it's like, oh, I might as well go to the gym, even if it's for 20 minutes, right? And before you have the habit like you and I, where it's so easy, we want to go, that's really important. And number 3 is energy levels. Like, who in the gym is getting after it? Or is it a bunch of people who are very much just kind of putting in the motions?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing.
Yeah,
what do you think? What do you think of that? What do you think of people that... I don't know. I've just never had a New Year's resolution. I've just never gotten to the end of the year and been like, fuck, I really want to do this and I'm going to do that now. Like, I think I should... I think I'm going to use this as motivation to do that. I don't...
Interesting.
Lately, like, for the last year or so, ever since, like, I've really gotten into my own head and realized, like, been super hyper conscious of everything.
Yeah.
I just do things when I know they need to be done.
Yeah.
I'm better of that. I won't say I always do. But, like, one of the biggest things, I think I've told this story before, but one of the biggest things that made me realize how much I trust you is when I was in credit card debt and Alan said, yo, if you have money in the bank, just pay off as much as you can. Yeah. And then that day, like immediately after that conversation,
that was impressive.
I paid off $7,000 or whatever it was, some number that I could have done for months. I needed a little push to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't say...
Maybe New Year's resolutions or New Year's Day is that mental push. But what I think people need to realize is that is in your head.
Yeah.
It's in your head.
So the only reason it's the mental push is because you haven't dug deep enough to realize you can do it now.
You can do it now.
If you're genuinely unhappy with what's going on in your life, that's your New Year's resolution right there.
Right there, yeah.
That's all you need. Just realize you could be happier.
Each day, like, this is a new year, even though it's not the calendar year.
Right.
Right? This is... Like, I remember I decided 3 years ago, I was like, I'm just going to focus on this decade. This is going to be my decade where I turn it all around and all my dreams come true. And that was 3 years ago. And it's like, honestly, I'm going to be honest with everyone here. Seconds turn into hours. Or no, seconds turn into minutes. Minutes turn into hours. Hours turn into days. Days turn into years. Years turn into months. Or no, months turn into years, sorry. Years turn into decades, and then decades form the tapestry of your life. I honestly, clouds and dirt, decades and seconds. I focus far more on what I want to accomplish in a decade and what I'm doing right now. I think most other people are focused on like their weeks and their months and their years. I honestly think that you should be grand vision. If you're not in the clouds, you should be in the dirt, getting your hands dirty. I really believe that. And again, everyone has their own approach, but I will tell people that's what I do. Most of my life is spent in one of two places. I'm getting my fucking hands dirty in the gym or in my business, or I'm dreaming big. I'm setting visions, setting longer range goals, figuring out what I want my life to look like in the future, and more importantly, who I want to be in the future.
Well, so maybe then... So what was your New Year's resolution? You like when I said I've never made one, you kind of looked at me like, okay, it seemed like you may have made some in your day, in your past days.
Yeah. I think that it's more from a place of an opportunity to make them rather than a need to. I remember I watched the Tony Robbins video. He comes out with a video every year talking about New Year's resolutions and how few people actually follow through on them and why that is. So that some people might actually be able to stick with it, which I think is awesome. That's why we're doing that right now. Is hopefully people can realize, like, not only can you start today, but if you are going to make New Year's resolutions, we can talk a little bit about how to make those actually stick. But so some of the New Year's resolutions that I wouldn't call guilty of, that I've used in the past are things like get in shape, make more money, try to be happier. But that's the problem. I think they're so generic. And again, that was when I think it's funny because like back in the past when I have made New Year's resolutions, I think they all were before I became super, super aware, number one. And number two, Jenny mentioned this to me too, and my mom also says this because I'm pretty hard on myself when it comes to my past. And Kevin and I talked a little bit about this in the preamble because I just created a bio for a speech that I'm doing on January 13th to discuss this decade, what I've done, just to introduce myself. And when you go back through your quote-unquote story and you realize what you have accomplished, and it's like, wow, like, I'm pretty hard on myself, but I did some really, really great, cool things. And it was certainly challenging, and I could have done a lot more, because we all could do more. But it's like, wow. And I think to myself, it's like, and Jenny and my mom mentioned this, Alan, you were always an achiever, you know? Because maybe not at the level I am now.
Right.
Certainly not. And I certainly was not maximizing my potential. Wowza. Right? But I always had a goal, right? I want to get good grades. I want to get the President's Award. I want to get into WPI. I want to graduate with high distinction. I want to get a $65,000 a year at minimum job out of, like, I always had goals, even though they weren't written, they weren't my main focus, you know, boozing was. No, partying, I did a lot of partying in college, but I did always have that, they call it future pacing. You're not as focused on who you are right now, you're more focused on who you want to become and what you want to accomplish. And it's a huge trait of achievers. I'm reading a book right now by Brendan Burchard. Great guy, by the way. And this might be my second favorite book of all time.
Ooh,
To the Compound Effect. Yeah, I'm
interesting.
going to highly recommend that you read it. It's called High Performance Habits. Go figure. By Brendan Burchard. Shout out to you, brother. And he calls it the HP6. These are the 6 things that high performers tend to do. And he said what you should be doing is, you know how I always say, Temet Noske, know thyself. Yes. Well, he says what a lot of people that are achievers do, and this is something that I didn't realize I did, but now I'm aware that I do it, is imagine yourself. Not only know who you are today, but imagine yourself. Meaning, like, step into that person now. And the way he does it is he says, pick 3 words that describe who you want to become. So, like, if earlier tonight I were to ask Kevin prior to this podcast, what are 3 words that describe how you want to who you want to be during this podcast? What are 3 words that come to mind?
Oh,
Yeah.
Caring.
Caring. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Notice how he said that first, by the way.
Trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say trend setting, but like trustworthy. I want people to
hear
what I say and say, "Oh, you know what? That makes sense." Like I can, yeah, he's saying that because he wants to help me, not because you know what I mean.
I think that goes along with caring, but keep it.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, that's how I am.
Yeah.
And let's see, competent.
Yes, love it. And for those of you, if you don't know what competent is, it's being very capable, being very good at what you do, a master of your craft. That's awesome. So caring, trustworthy, and competent, and in that order.
Oh, caring. Dude, you know, like, I'm so big on that, man. Yeah. I'm very big on caring.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
I have a story.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go.
So, and this is, I don't really know. I don't even know the point of this story. I don't know what you'll take from it. I don't know if anybody's going to take anything from it. To
give it a shot.
Honest.
We know you're caring.
So, yes. So today, me and Matt were going to the gym, and we went to the gas station. I needed gas. My car wouldn't start. My battery died at the gas station, and it was shit packed. So I told the guy,
packed as in like full.
There was a lot of people at the gas station.
Yeah.
No, the gas station. I didn't even make it to the gym in my car.
I was like, oh, New Year's is coming. Everybody's getting in the gym.
No, it has.
We should talk about that.
We will for sure. And I have an interesting thought on that as well. But so I told the gas attendant, I said, hey man, my car's dead. Like, you happen to have jumper cables laying around? And he looked around and he's like, yeah, just give me 1 sec, man. It's busy. I was like, yeah, take your time, man. No worries. Yeah. Gave me the keys to his car and said, there's jumper cables in the back, swinging around, do what you got to do. No worries.
Wow.
That was it. Gave me the keys to his car and walked away and then started helping other people. Cool. Awesome.
That's awesome.
I went, got his car, drove it through the gas station, parked it in the middle of the gas station. We jumped my car. And when we were leaving, I wanted to give him money because I'm like, dude, you don't know how much you helped me.
Yeah.
And so I gave him money, and he was like, he looked at me, he's like, really, man? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's not a big deal. And I was like, dude, you don't realize like how much you just helped me. Like, you just saved hours of my day. If I had to call AAA. And he's like, dude, I really appreciate that. I really appreciated what he did.
Yeah.
More than he appreciated the money that I gave him, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it was weird to me that he was so like thrown off by me thanking him.
Yeah.
Being so willing to be like, dude, if I had more money, I would have given you more, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you really, really are a good soul for doing what you did.
For sure.
Simple.
Well, I think you have become the type of person who wants to give credit where it's due.
I always do, for sure. But I think it was a weird thing that, like,
not a lot of people do that. And
Right.
So he was taken back.
Right.
So he may be caring in that way to people all the time, but very rarely is it reciprocated.
Right.
And I think it's awesome in a way to like, it's awesome and kind of not, in a sense of it's awesome that like you were able to reinstill his hope in
Right.
humanity in some small way. And like, you know,
It's a weird thing. But see, it's personal because I pumped gas for like 5 years. I pumped gas
at Helen's.
at Helen's.
That's
yeah,
right.
when
I
was in
remember.
high school, man.
Shout out to Helen's.
Yeah. So
I remember.
I know what it's like to deal with people all day and get shit on
Oh, yeah.
repeatedly.
Just entitlement and
Yeah,
disrespect.
like I know how that is.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it too. Like I felt I know what you're feeling, man.
Yeah.
Like I've been there. I know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, so like fuck, here you go. Like dude, thanks. I really really genuinely appreciate what you did for me.
Yeah, man.
That'd be a great
You were in a
fucking day.
bind and someone was there for you.
But
And
I
think,
felt like telling that because I think that, and then one of the things he said was like, "Oh man, happy holidays," and like, yeah, dude, honestly, good, happy holidays.
Yeah.
but it could be the middle of summer.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm giving you the money.
I know.
I'm
man.
giving you the fucking
People
money.
are so nice this time of year. Isn't it kind of unfortunate that it's
It's
because of the
strange.
time of year?
It's strange.
It's a common denominator that everyone's like, oh, we got to be generous during the holidays.
Right.
It's like I think it's just habit.
Probably.
You know what I mean? We grew up as kids with Christmas. Everyone was nice and generous around Christmas. Everyone's happy, spending time with their family. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people are stressed out running around,
Yeah, for sure.
trying to buy a bunch of stuff. But I think it's really just habit. Like this time of year, I think it's neuroassociations, man. Like our central nervous system associates positivity, kindness, smiling, love, and giving around this time of year, and being thankful, gratitude.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a combination of environment and neuroassociations. In other words, we grew up where everyone was like that this time of year, so we think on some subconscious level that we need to be that way.
But we should be that way all the time.
And I also think it's like, well, think about what's on TV now. All the Christmas Story,
Yeah.
right? It's a Wonderful Life. So it's both. And I think if we could just kind of rise above and transcend the season and realize that it's a way of life. But this goes right into dieting. We talk about dieting all the time. It's not a season. It's not a oh, summer's coming up,
Right.
time to prep. It's not a photo shoot. It's not a show. It's a lifestyle. And it never ends. You know, and if we can just transcend this holiday season and realize that we want to be giving, kind, respectful, honest, loving every second of every day. Same with this whole New Year's resolution thing.
Well, how
New
do you
goals,
do that?
new visions every
so
day.
So how do you?
I think the first thing is becoming aware of it.
Right. I was gonna say knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. If I say it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, you're gonna lose your mind. You're gonna be like, I can't change my entire life.
Yeah.
When I tell you that all you have to do is make your top number be the same as your bottom number at the end of every day.
Yeah.
That's it. All you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's your lifestyle.
Well, yeah.
Then you realize, I mean, obviously it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. But,
Kevin,
but it
the
is.
sign of a true master.
but it is though.
yeah, I know.
But maybe
Yeah.
off the bat, it's not going to be easy. You're going to struggle. You're going to have days you overeat.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have days you undereat because you didn't pack enough food for the day. Sure.
Yeah.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. It's part of growth.
I actually wrote something super relevant on my Instagram recently that I think you'll love.
Pull it up.
I think people would really enjoy this because it's very relevant to the holiday season,
Yeah.
and you'll know in a second. So I'm gonna read this real quick. This is on my Instagram. I posted this yesterday, I believe. So
A Lazarus 88
A Lazarus 88 on Instagram.
on Instagram.
So photo shoot prep during the holidays has been a challenge to say the least. But if we want to maximize our potential, then we must be prepared to do whatever it takes when opportunity strikes. That's why I'm such a huge advocate of tracking calories and flexible dieting. Why? Not because it's easier, but because it provides the necessary wiggle room to make consistent progress toward our goals. In his 67 Steps program, Tai Lopez refers to this as the belt and suspenders approach to life. In other words, if one side of the system fails, there's always a fail-safe to make up for that failure on the back end. I love it, and flexible dieting during the holidays is a prime example of that. Let's say it's Thanksgiving, and you typically eat about 2,000 calories per day to lose weight right now. And right now is the important part.
Right.
But today you want to indulge with friends and family. Perfect. And you can. But here's the tricky part. If you have no clue what calories are in what foods, and your nutritional awareness is low because you've never tracked consistently enough, then how do you know how much you've spilled over by?
Right.
Right? However, if you're an avid tracker, meaning you step on the scale each morning in addition to tracking your calories daily, then more than likely you possess what I refer to as the ability to intuitively diet. This is what Kevin does all the time, by the way. For example, in this instance, you'd know that you probably spilled over by 500 or so calories with that pie and coffee with heavy cream you wanted to enjoy. No problem. You've got several options. You can either eat less calories the following day, approximately 1,500 to make up the difference. 2,000 minus 1,500 is 500 that you spilled over. Or perhaps you can run a few miles or weight train extra to burn those extra 500 calories. But don't get caught up in the logistics, because my point is this. Being naturally fit for life is not a diet, a weight training program, or a supplement. It's not a season nor a photo shoot prep. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of being. It's a constant, unwavering, and never-ending philosophy to live by. It's a standard that never stops being raised, and because of this, it's not subject to the constantly changing and cyclical nature of the world around us, and that's why it's so powerful.
So, as you were reading that, I was thinking to myself, okay, what am I learning from this? And I learned more from that. This is why fucking diet plans don't work. Because they don't fucking teach you anything.
They don't teach you anything.
Here, read this book, and then do what the book says.
Yeah. But then when you don't have the book,
then you don't know.
Then you don't know.
And then you assume dieting doesn't work. Yeah. That's because dieting doesn't work.
Yeah.
You don't need to diet. You need to eat less. That's not a diet.
So
if that is what is happening. You need knowledge. You need the knowledge of nutrition. You need the knowledge of the body. I feel like, for fuck's sake, man.
Kevin's fired up. I love it.
Pisses me
I
off
love it
so much.
Dude, right? Because honestly, to be completely honest, I've been humbled during the holiday season because you know that I haven't been making quite as much progress as I'd like. I was supposed to have a photo shoot on the middle of January, and I had to push it back a couple weeks because Papa wasn't losing weight.
But I think that's good almost.
You know,
for
and
you
I talked to you and Matt, and you're maybe you shouldn't spill over.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, every other day.
You know. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Are you tracking? Not like I usually do. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's your problem. Yeah. But I think it's good, though. Yeah. I think you having like a slip-up is good.
Yeah.
Because you realize, okay, look.
Yeah.
Other people have slip-ups, and this is what it feels like.
I got a little arrogant with it because I thought, I mastered it. I can intuitively eat. Honestly, tracking, and again, it is what it is. I wasn't like, fortunately, I'm weighing myself. So I know that I'm not making progress. The problem is most people aren't even stepping on the scale. So they don't even know if they're not making progress. And then they're just spinning their wheels. And it's like, here's the thing. If you want to reinforce a habit, you have to know that it's working. Because that is the reward that triggers the brain to say, keep doing this. And then they wonder, it's like, I don't feel like going to the gym today. Of course you don't. You don't even know if it's working.
Right.
Why would
you? Teach a man to fish, and he fishes for a lifetime.
Yes.
When you're buying the book, this, whatever the book is, South Beach Diet, Atkins, what you're doing is you're renting a fishing pole from them.
Yes.
And then when you're done with the book, you're using the same fishing pole until the line gets caught up.
But
and you do not know how to fix it.
You don't know how to fix it.
And then you think, I can't catch fish.
So I think this quote that Kevin just said is super, super profound.
I am super profound. Also, I mean, that's probably why.
And in great shape. So we should listen.
I appreciate it. Competent.
If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Right. I think that the fitness industry, and honestly all of the industries, whether it's financial advising or fitness, right, any diet program, weight training program, if it's cookie cutter, meaning it's only for one circumstance or one type of person or for one season or for whatever, then I think that that's the problem. Jim Rohn quote, one of my favorite authors, he says, "It is not the wind that's to blame. The wind blows on us all, and it's constantly changing. It's the set of the sail that determines our destination." And what he says, the set of the sail is your philosophy. And philosophy is a big word. We were taught like, philosophers, Socrates.
Right.
Philosophy just means your mentality. Your if and then. If this, then that. If this, then that. Like, I could ask Kevin if-then statements all day about fitness, and he would be able to answer every single one of them very quickly. Whereas some people who aren't quite as honed in on their philosophy wouldn't be able to. Like, I could say, Kevin, if you aren't losing weight, what do you do? If then. And then you could tell me.
Right. Eat less. Do more cardio.
Or train more. Yeah, see? And you're quick. Other people might throw their hands up in the air and go,
right.
Oh, I'm not sure. And I'll never forget when I was taught this. Awareness is everything. Like, think about going up to Steve Jobs back when he was alive and saying, talking about, integrated circuits. And him just going like, and you mentioned like, voltage this, integrated circuit that. And he's like, oh, what's that? Yeah, right. Like, Steve Jobs knows everything about electronics because that's why he's Steve Jobs.
Right.
Be that guy. Be the guy who knows how many grams of protein you should have in a day, who knows how much ounces of water you should be drinking in a day, who knows how to weight train for muscle growth versus fat loss. Like, I could talk for 3 days.
I'm glad you went to that, though, because, see, this is my thing.
Be the knower.
Not you.
And the doer.
Whoever you are listening, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, yeah, but there's no way I can do that. Like, I'm not a fitness person. You weren't a mother before you started being a mother.
So
you
good,
weren't,
yeah.
whatever your job is, you weren't good at that before you started doing it.
Yeah.
The thing is, you just haven't started yet.
Yeah.
And if you have started and you haven't seen results yet, there's a number of things you can do. You could quit, which you shouldn't do. You need to figure out why you're not getting the results.
Yeah.
There's a reason. If there
There's-
is an if and there is a when.
Yep.
If you are not getting results, then your reason is this.
Yes.
Figure out your reason, and then you'll have new ifs and new thens.
Yeah. And that's going to never stop. That's a process that continues.
It is. We
'Cause
were
you-
talking about some life shit earlier that, like,
Yeah.
it's not, you don't ever not have problems. Your problems just get more complicated. Realistically, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, I think they get higher caliber.
Yeah.
Because
Whatever,
you're
they're
trying to
$1 million.
sustain
Right.
more.
If you want to be a millionaire,
Yeah.
if you want $1 million, you better have a millionaire mindset very
Yes.
fast,
Yeah,
or
you bet-
you're gonna have $1 million for a day.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be
Another
gone.
Jim Rohn quote. He says, if someone comes up to you and gives you $1 million, best you become a millionaire.
That's the one.
Fast.
Yeah. Mine was a little.
It's
not
very
there.
true though, because to sustain, isn't another great quote? If you can do well with very little, then we will trust you with much. But most people have that mentality of like, oh well, if I had more money,
Right.
I would care about my money more. It's like, wait, care about it when it's
Right.
small,
And
and
it'll
that's
grow.
how it grows.
Yeah.
But we weren't taught any of this,
I know,
so I don't
I
blame
know.
anybody, man. That's why my slogan: what you'll never learn in school, but desperately need to know. And that's the whole thing, man. I think honing in on a more optimized philosophy that's customized to you and your future is everything.
I have. So we were talking about resolutions, right? And I feel like most resolutions people don't want to do. I feel that way.
Okay.
And the reason I feel that way is because we were saying earlier, you're always waiting for the perfect opportunity to do something difficult.
Yeah.
You wait until that opportunity, quote unquote, presents itself, which is New Year's resolution.
Okay.
How long does that motivation stay there, though? Like, that's the issue.
Yeah. Well,
S-
I think that if it's extrinsic, I think there's two types of motivation: extrinsic motivation and intrinsic. And I think that extrinsic is like, here's a perfect example. Matt and Kevin were out at the bar a month or two ago, and I noticed this because I noticed things.
Yeah, you do notice things.
I try. And Matt and Kevin came up to me and they were like, we met in the gym the day after. And you guys were like, oh, yesterday, like, we were at the bar and some guy came up to us and was like, wow, you guys kill it.
Oh, yeah.
At Boost.
Yeah.
And like, why are you even at the bar? And you guys are like, oh, we're just hanging out, like, whatever. And you and him got really excited about that.
Yes.
And as you should. Someone came and gave credit where it was due. They complimented you and Matt, and it remotivated you. I think that's awesome. The problem is that most of us are relying on that.
Right.
If you're intrinsically motivated, you don't need anybody to come and say you're awesome in order to get in the gym, or you suck. Some people need, like, extrinsic motivation. And here's what I believe the reason is. You asked me earlier, like, why do you wake up at 6 a.m.? Because you want to.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. We've been trained since kids to wake up at 6 a.m., not because we want to,
Do things we
Kevin,
don't like.
but because we have to.
Yeah.
You have to be
Shit.
at school at this time. You have to be at work or you'll get fired. That's called extrinsic motivation. You're not going because you want to. This is why most entrepreneurs, I shouldn't say most, this is why a lot of entrepreneurs that are super, super successful never graduated high school or college. There's a book called The Self-Made Billionaire Effect, and they talk about how there's 950 billionaires. That was back in 2012. I think now it's like 1,500. There's a lot of wealth being created in the world. It's growing fast. But anyways, the point is that they found a correlation between not going to school and succeeding at that level. And I think the reason is this, and this is speculation, but I think it's true. I think it's true. They were intrinsically motivated from a younger age. Meaning, I used to go to school because I would get in trouble if I didn't.
Right.
I used to, a bell rings, you have to be in class, right? And work is like that too. If you're getting up at 5 a.m. to go to a job because your boss will fire you if you don't, that's not building self-discipline. That's
No.
you have to do
You
it or
have
you'll
to.
get fired. That's
Right.
fear-based. If you get up at 5 a.m. because you want to, that is building self-discipline, and the more you do it, the more it grows, just like a muscle.
It's a total difference. The other day I got up, I don't know what day it was, but I was off of work and I actually got up earlier than I did for work. And I was,
Love it.
whatever. It was totally fine. I was happy about it.
Yeah.
I actually got up before my alarm went off and didn't even try to go back to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
and I was thinking of that. I was like, I want to do this every day. I just
Yeah,
want to do this
man.
every day.
Every day.
And
Is
I'm
it
not
the
there
best?
yet. I'm not there yet
But
to the point where I can.
You're getting there.
I am. I'm getting there and my mind is already there.
It's a process.
My mind is already there.
process.
But there is more grinding to do
Yeah.
before that happens. But I don't know. I it's sad to me, man, because like I almost feel like people think that New Year's resolutions are some super. It's like the time where you really say what you want and you get it, and it's not that way unless you're willing to put in the rest of the effort. Your effort has to remain the exact same.
So
It's just another day. If it motivates you, awesome. But make sure you're motivated. Make sure you know what motivates you. Make sure you know what your why power is. Make sure you have a visualization of where you're going to go.
Yeah, man.
Like, set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
You're going on a fucking road trip. You better put gas in the car and have groceries.
Yeah.
Don't get on a bicycle.
and you have to have a map.
You know what
and you
I
have to
mean?
have at least the destination.
So it might
Hopefully
be a
some
New
roads.
Year's resolution, but do some fucking planning before.
So we just hit the nail on the head. I'm glad we got here. Because a New Year's resolution, what New Year's Eve is extrinsic motivation to set goals.
Yeah.
But as soon as that goes away,
Then
because
what?
in a month, there's New Year's is over.
Right.
And it fades, the emotion associated to that goal fades. Now it requires intrinsic motivation, which is something completely different.
Yeah.
So once the circumstance that created the extrinsic motivation, like for example, that person who came up to you and Matt, goes away, and that doesn't happen, do you guys still get after it to the same level? I think you should leverage both. Extrinsic motivation is great. Like, my girlfriend comes to the gym with me. She says I look awesome. It's going to motivate me. I think that's how humans are wired. But that shouldn't be a requirement for me to have an intense workout.
Right.
And as soon as it is, then you're the slave, not the master.
But where is that disconnect?
I think it's a matter of building both muscles. I honestly think that 80-20. I think that having no extrinsic motivation is silly because you wouldn't be leveraging that part of a human
Right.
being. Like, for example, if I go to the gym with Kevin, he's an animal. He motivates me. Being there with you, I can tell I'm more motivated than without you. I'll be honest. But I do know that I should bring that level of intensity, or at least
Right.
try to,
Right.
without you. I honestly have tried to wire myself 80-20. 20% extrinsic, 80% intrinsic. So if you need everything around you to be a certain way to get after it, you're never going to get after
Right.
it.
Well, so I don't know if we talked about this actually.
What
So
do we got?
when we went to Walk Wachusett,
Oh,
you remember that day? So
Here we go.
So
The infamous walk
the
watch.
infamous Walk Wachusett. So Alan and I were gonna do a moonlight. It was a sunrise hike
Yes.
at Wachusett. So we went there, and Alan and I are so very different when it comes to this. So you're not supposed to park in this lot.
Yeah.
The rules get me. Alan doesn't give a fuck about the rules. He
All
doesn't
right.
give a fuck.
Easy.
But
I have a healthy aversion to the rules.
long story short,
Proud
we
of
get
it.
there. There's nowhere to walk because
You
the
fell-
mountain doesn't have paths.
Yeah, and you
up the
fell
side
in
of it,
the puddle.
And I fell in a giant mud puddle. And then we had already eaten like pre-workout carbs because we were gonna walk. We were gonna walk a couple miles.
yeah,
we had
we're gonna
pre-workout
hike
carbs.
up a mountain.
And Alan was like, "Yo, let's just go to the gym." And I was like, "Dude, I haven't taken my pre-workout. I don't have my headphones." And he was like, "Well, so like, what the fuck? Get after it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, can I stop at that house and at least change my shoes because I'm covered in mud?"
Yeah.
And we had incredible workouts.
Yeah.
We were already up.
Yep.
We had planned something. It fell through. Not the end of the world.
Yep.
But I don't even know why I told that story.
So I do, and I love what you did with that, because here's the thing, Kevin. Like, in that morning, if you need things to be a certain way to
Right,
get into
that
the
was it.
gym,
Yeah.
then the chances of you getting in the gym consistently enough to see massive results are
Right.
slim. So when you don't have your headphones and you just stepped in mud and the morning didn't go quite as we'd
Not
hoped,
at all.
and you know you had maybe a little too much coffee or not enough, do you still go?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah, and get
the
after
more
it.
you do that, and the less that you need the outer circumstances to be perfect for you to get after it, the more you're going to get after it. And the more consistently you'll get after it, and the bigger your results will be. Here's the thing, and I want to say that because you getting Kevin in that example that you used, you didn't have pre-workout. What were the other things? You didn't have
I
pre-workout.
didn't have pre-workout. I didn't have my headphones.
Didn't have your headphones.
I didn't
Okay.
have anything.
Now here's the thing: pre-workout and headphones are tools.
For sure.
But
And
if-
pre-workout might be one that I overuse. For sure. I'll admit that.
But if you need it,
it's the master.
then it's exactly. If you need it, it's not a tool; it's a crutch.
Right.
That is a huge distinction. Tools for success is a hashtag I use all the time. If I have my belt that I put around my waist to do heavy squats and my knee sleeves, those are tools for success. As soon as I don't squat because I don't have them, they are the master. They are not tools; they are crutches.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
And
like that.
Remember when you said
like what you
I don't
went there.
not like the bar, and I don't love to drink. I drink because I don't like the bar.
Right.
Or let me rephrase that. You don't. You're uncomfortable at the bar, so you drink.
Right.
If you're drinking to have a better time
You
and
shouldn't
it's
be
going to
there.
enhance the experience, then that's a tool for
Yeah.
happiness.
Yeah,
But if you're using it as a crutch
For
to
sure.
be uncomfortable, it's a crutch.
for sure.
I want everyone to really take a look at New Year's resolutions and their whole life and see what are tools and what are crutches. You just admitted that pre-workout might be a crutch at this point.
I would say so.
I would argue too, my workouts are not nearly as good when I don't have some caffeine. I honestly think that's a problem. And as soon as it gets to the point where when I don't have caffeine, I don't go to the gym, then the caffeine is the crutch.
So what? We're at the point now.
Yep.
I won't say we because I won't speak for you, but I'm at the point now where I will never allow myself not to have money for pre-workout or gym things. and I'm being serious. I'm laughing, but I'm being serious.
Yeah.
But so, in a weird way, maybe it is the master. But it's a master I'm all right with. I'm fine. Come along for the ride. I'm gonna buying you anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you with me because I'm always prepared. And if it comes down to the day where I step in mud and I don't have pre-workout, give me a tank top and I'll fucking work out without pre-workout.
That's the point. Then you got to do it.
Right. I think
that's the moment, the quantum moment where you decide whether
Right.
or not you're really
when
the
we're
master.
going to gym, and I'm not gonna when we're going to gym, we're going to battle with ourselves.
Yes.
We're going to
With our lesser selves.
with our lesser selves.
Yeah.
I would rather go in with a machine gun of pre-workout.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm being dead serious.
Then
Yeah.
like a spear.
Than a spear with no pre-workout.
Yeah.
But you better believe if I don't have pre-workout and I got to go get after it,
I'm still gonna.
I'm going to bring the spear and I'm going to fucking swing it and throw it and do whatever I can with it.
I love
It's
it.
just a matter of preference.
I like
my preference is to have pre-workout.
I think that's a good. Mine is too.
What so I come up to you in the gym.
Yeah.
And everything always ends up fitness related with us because it's such a passion of both of ours.
And it's a great analogy for everything.
And I also think it's a huge issue. I think a lot of people want to talk about it and they're afraid to. They want to be fit. They're afraid to put themselves out there, to look like they don't know what they're talking about. Fine. I don't know what I'm talking about in a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's why I ask people who do.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be embarrassed
Humble
about.
pie.
What
it
if,
tastes tough on the way down, but it's worth it.
Right. If I came up to you in the gym and I said, hey, I made this New Year's resolution to get in shape. I really, really want to take my health seriously this year.
Yep.
How can I make sure that I'm one of those people that's here in 6 months and not overwhelmed by all this and I'm out of here in a month? Because, you'll see this meme going around pretty soon of like, what is it?
Gyms that are full.
Something like that. It'll be like, there's a bunch of barbarians and it's like, guard something, all the New Year's resolutioners are coming. And I honestly used to have that mindset. I used to have that mindset of like, dude, if you're here and you don't know what you're doing, like, and I'm being real. This is totally me being honest and
I know.
real, and I don't even like saying
I
this.
appreciate your honesty.
But I used to, when I was younger, I used to think that, like, get out of my way. If you're doing something on my machine, like, now I'm totally different. I'm not like that anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Love it.
I had a lot of
That's
hate when
growth.
I had
That's
a lot of
growth.
hate when I was younger.
Well, I think that, yeah. I
But
mean,
that's not the point.
yeah.
The point.
we get you want to go down that road?
No. The point I want to make is that I think that the greater percentage of people are happy that you're in there doing what you're trying to do.
For sure.
Somebody came up to me and asked me about boxing the other day, and he was like, yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt. And I was like, dude, no, man.
Yeah.
If you ever have a question, I don't care who you are. If you're listening right now, you go down to Boost over at 40 Millbrook Street
Yeah.
in Worcester.
40 Millbrook?
You got a question, come ask.
Don't interrupt my set.
Yeah, don't interrupt my set. But and if I'm getting after it on the heavy bag, just wait until I'm done.
Yeah.
But ask me whatever you want.
Exactly.
I'm like, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That's
For
why
sure.
we're doing this.
Yeah, we want to help people.
Wanna
For
help.
sure. For sure.
And I'm ashamed that I used to be that way. I'm ashamed I used to be one of those people.
I think there's two reasons why people don't go up to people. Like, had I never met Nate, Like, he was a very intimidating, 6'4", just beast.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Had I never met Nate, I would not be where I am today.
For sure.
One of the best friendships I've ever had. Certainly the best mentorships when it comes to fitness, natural fitness. And I think one of the reasons, there's two reasons primarily, I believe, that people don't go up and ask people who clearly know what they're doing. Success leaves clues. When someone has success in some endeavor that you value, it didn't fall out of the sky. Figure out what they're doing, apply it to yourself. That's modeling. You got to do it. Now, that said, two reasons. Number one, I think they're either arrogant and think they know it all, and what could this person possibly know that I don't, right?
Or the total opposite,
which is like they're intimidated. They're too intimidated. They don't want to look bad. So one is like arrogance, the other one's fear.
I had this moment the other day.
Both a problem.
Alan.
Okay, what do we got?
This is a real fucking podcast for me because, like, I'm learning a lot about myself right now.
I like it.
Which I don't like. No, I'm kidding. Totally love
he
it.
does like.
That kickboxer I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, I've been trying to get after it at the gym. I do a little bit of boxing, a little bit of Muay Thai. I'm all right. I'm not good by any means. I don't think so, but I get a lot of compliments, which is good. I appreciate them. But this man is a amateur or professional. I'm not sure, but he's been doing it for a long time. Kickboxer. And he came up to me and he was like,
Master of his craft.
Master of his craft, for sure.
Love it.
Came up and said, hey, we should train together, all this stuff. And I immediately reverted to like, fuck, I'm not good enough. Like,
it
wasn't
Kevin. The old Kevin.
Not even
came
the
out
old
to play.
Kevin. Not even the old Kevin because
Okay.
I'm not at this guy's level.
Yeah. Okay.
Not even close.
I think acknowledging that is
Hold up.
okay. Go.
Oh no, it still goes.
Do it.
So I immediately was like, nah, man. Like, I watched him hit the bag, and I was like, after he was done, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. It's nice to see somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just making a joke about myself, and he's like, no, man, you know what you're doing. Don't say that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well,
Good for him.
I
like
don't
this
really.
person already.
He's a great guy. Nice guy.
Good.
But when I got home, Matt was like, Matt, my roommate, my best friend, my brother.
Matt
He's
Ryan.
like, dude, just so you know, like, you're not that far off from him. And I was like, what's up, man? He's like, you're pretty much like right there with him. Like, when I watch you do it and somebody else do it, like, you're right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, just so you know, that's probably the nicest compliment you ever said to me.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
But also, it's weird figuring out where you are.
Yeah.
Like, where you are on the meter.
Ooh, so true. That's a great.
Yeah, man.
That's another
I
reason why
really
I
struggle with that. I struggle with where I am.
Because it's based on the tank you're in. Like
Right.
a fish in a small tank
Right,
is going
right.
to feel like it's a big bass when it really maybe it's a goldfish in the ocean.
That's why
Yeah, it's tough.
when I see somebody who I know is a legitimate fighter, legitimate boxer.
Can I?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the solution to that, and this is something I've struggled with so much as well. Where am I?
Right.
Right? Like, oh, I won my fitness show. Good, but who was competing?
Right.
Right? Like Guzman, if anyone knows who that is, like he competed
Christian
and got
Guzman.
second.
Can't just
Christian-
say his last name.
I'm sorry, yeah. Well, he's at that level now where I probably
There's
could.
a lot of Guzmans.
All right, Alpha Elite, Christian Guzman, shout out to you, brother. Love that you're natural. Love what you preach because it's very similar to what I do, and I think that there's a lot of crap in the fitness industry. Love what you do. Anyways, he competed, came in second. If he was in my show, he would have beaten me, I
Right.
think. He was on that level.
I didn't see
And
the pictures.
this year, I'm not so sure, Christian.
Ooh.
Bring it. But if you want to be the best, you got to compete with the best. But not necessarily because if they're so far above you, they've been doing it for a decade more. You're
I'm
not
going
even...
to the gym after this.
You are?
Yep.
I love it. Okay,
That's
Kevin
it.
just decided.
Yep.
I love it.
I wanted to just break in and say that because
Yeah.
I want people to like see
The mood struck
the mood struck.
And by the
I'm
way, he
literally doing it.
because it's 24/7 gym.
Yeah, and I
it's
can
only
do it.
5 minutes away. How far is the gym away? I should have asked that. Damn, I already
Yeah.
said it. I
Yeah,
already
five-
answered.
5
minutes away. 40 Millbrook Street, 5 minutes from here. Kevin, 24/7. The mood struck right after this.
That's
He's
it.
going.
That's
Done.
it.
Done deal.
That's it.
But the one thing I wanted to say is mentors. If you want to know where you're at, get around. It's called the law of 33%. And this is so important. I always say that if you want to be successful in a certain endeavor, it's twofold. Number one, stay out of the wrong rooms with
We
the
were
wrong,
talking about that
with the
earlier,
wrong
yeah.
people.
Yep.
And number two, get into the right rooms with the right people. You want to be in shape? Get around in shape people.
Right, why not?
Stay away from people out of shape. And I'm not, again, let me explain with the law of 33%. The 33% at the bottom, and I don't mean intrinsically at the bottom, I mean just logistically in me explaining this, is people that you can mentor, people that you're ahead of in a certain endeavor. Okay, for Nate, when I first met him, he was a mentor to me in fitness. When it came to business, I was a mentor to him. Okay, so these are people that you mentor. They make you feel good about yourself. They make you realize your value. They make you realize that what you've learned and what you've experienced is not a given. It feels good to give, and they're going to motivate you because it's like, wow, like the more I learn, the more I get to add value to others, and it feels good to give.
Right.
Okay, so that's the bottom. The middle is your peer group. Me and Kevin, when it comes to fitness, are on pretty much the same level-ish. We pitch and catch.
Right.
We talk fitness,
Yep,
and
yep.
we're right
We're
there.
willing to take advice from each other and suggestions from each other. And
Exactly.
That-
Now, if Nate was in the room, I would consider him to be the top 33%, which is a mentor to both of us. We're most likely taking notes,
yeah,
right?
Yep.
Especially when it comes to natural fitness.
Yep.
You know why? Because he's been doing it for a decade.
Yeah.
And even more than that, personal training, the whole nine. Maybe not Kevin, because Kevin's been doing it for
yeah.
that
But
long, too.
Nate, when I look at Nate, that's like fuck. He's
Yeah.
next level. Nate's the next level.
He's
That's
next
it.
level.
That's
He
it.
is. Yeah, he's the next level. So what I'm saying is everyone should really try to set up their life, split your time in the right rooms with the law of 33%. Get around people that you can help, that you can mentor in the things that you're passionate about. Get around people that are on your level. This is your peer group, your friends, And then also mentors. This is the part that most people fail at, and I fail at it too. I've been really guilty of this. Recently, I've stepped up. I have now 5 self-made millionaire mentors, right? If you want to be wealthy, you want to run a business, why not get around people who have already run successful businesses, eat some humble pie and go, wow, they know what they're doing because they have the results. Let me be humble enough to ask them questions.
Yeah.
I have coaching calls with my aunt every other Monday. I'm not going to name any more names because I want to keep things private. Mariana Costa, she's one of my mentors as well. She's amazing. But there's another mentor of mine who doesn't like social media, so I'm going to keep him private. But I'm training them in fitness, so I'm their mentor, their coach in fitness. They're training me on how to scale my business and create wealth and invest and all that kind of stuff. Mentors.
All right, so beautiful, love
Okay,
it.
yeah.
But so we got like 10 minutes.
Okay.
I want to make sure we do touch on New Year's and resolutions and
Okay.
all that since we said we were going to.
frame this whole thing.
Yeah, so bring
And-
that
And
into.
I'm going to pee real quick.
Oh, geez, here we go. Every time.
Here we go.
10 minutes, crunch time.
Just to finish that thought with the mentor thing, the mentors will help you picture that 33%. Kevin's original question was, how do you know where you're at?
Yes.
That will help you frame where you're really at. Because if it's just me, you, and 2 high school kids in a room, we're most likely going to feel
Right.
like we're ahead of them. But if Nate's in the room, we're going to realize where we're really at.
But it also depends on what we're talking about.
It does. And that's why you have to be specific and compartmentalize based on the certain masters of each
right.
craft.
All right, go pee.
Yeah, I'm going to
Go
All
pee.
right. Now I don't want to. You told me what to do.
Well, we got 10 minutes.
I
So
know.
can you hold it for 10 minutes? Okay. No. So do you? All right. I'll ask you when you come back. In my opinion, I think that it can be a huge undertaking. Anytime you want to make a big fundamental change in your life, it can be extremely overwhelming, especially if you're not as confident or as competent or as self-sure as you could be. It's really hard because you have to know that you can get where you want to go, because if you don't, you're going to start making up excuses for why you don't have to do it because you think you're going to fail in the first place. The mind is one of the most complex things in the world. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world. It can guide you to your wildest dreams, or it can also hold you down if you let it. We're talking about the mind, Alan. How?
The mind. One of my favorite things.
So one of the things we were reading, it said a lot of the reasons people don't accomplish their fitness goals is because they make too many of them too fast, or they fall off when they hit repeated small failures. And I said that's a terrible way to word that.
Yeah.
Why
it
do you
is.
think that's do you agree?
I do.
Why do you think so?
Because I think that the failures are necessary in order to... I always try to say that all progress is predicated on being wrong. What I mean by that is twofold. You have to have enough confidence in what you currently believe, your current philosophy, to actually move forward and take action. But you can't be arrogant about it, because you also, in order to improve, have to somehow realize that what you're currently doing is not maximizing what you could be doing, maximizing your potential. So it's this constant dance between, I know enough to take action, but I'm open-minded enough to improve and learn from someone who knows more.
Right.
Because there's always a better way to do it. Greg Plitt, one of my heroes, he has a quote that I love. He says, there's that quote that says, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, he says, screw that. If it's not broke, but it could be better, then it's as good as broken. I think that that's a mentality that we really need to instill within ourselves, because if it could be better, we should shoot for that. But that doesn't mean we don't do what we can with what we have right now.
Right. And that's something you and I have been talking about. Like, just because you don't have what you need, nope. Just because you don't have what you think you need,
Yes.
what you think you want, what would be ideal, what would make you get to the next level, it doesn't mean you don't put in the reps.
It's never going to be ideal.
Yeah, because
Never.
if you don't put in the reps now,
Yeah. Then it'll never be ideal.
right?
Yeah. Chicken or the egg, man.
It's like
It's
I'm gonna wait to do squats until I have a belt, but then I wait so long to do the squats
That
that
I-
I don't ever do them,
and I don't.
and
yeah.
then I have the belt.
Yeah.
like the belt gets there in 3 weeks, but I'm at that point I'm like, ah, fuck.
Yeah, I don't feel like
I don't
doing
feel like doing
squats.
this
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
It's I don't know, man. This we always talk about. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Life is a weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Life is a weird thing.
So I think that
My chair.
your chair.
It went
Yeah.
down. This thing went down on the Titanic. I dove down and got it.
yeah.
Brought it up. Let it dry. Still, the thing's still going.
Did you find the heart of the ocean?
Yeah, I did. I sold
Yeah.
it.
I'll never let go,
I
Jack.
sold it. I invested in Alan Lazarus LLC.
Well, that's a hell of an investment.
I
You're
hope
about
so.
to make a lot of money.
I hope so. Like Bitcoin.
Because we're gonna grow. Yeah,
You know?
that's a whole thing.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. nothing about it.
Just I think that everyone should consider themselves a philosopher when it comes to life. Like I always say, if you don't understand how the world works, and how the economy works, and how politics works, and how this whole game, quote unquote, is set up, then it's like you're playing against the greatest chess masters in the world when you don't know what the pieces do. You gotta figure out what the pieces do. Who's gonna win a game they don't understand? Imagine you go to a chessboard. You and I play chess. I'm a chess master. I've been
smoke
playing
you.
for 10 years.
I would smoke you.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna call Kevin out. We're gonna have to do that.
Dude,
and
I
talk
used
about
to
it
be
on
heavy.
the next
I
podcast.
for sure. I would
Heavy hitter
definitely-
over here.
Heavy. I used
I
to
love
be
it.
heavy into
We should
chess.
play chess. Jenny and I played up in Maine, and she was humbled a little bit.
Well,
I was
I was humbled when I tried to do
I
a
was
6 minute
scared
mile. So
for a minute there. Yeah, exactly.
So, hey,
Which
it
we
is what-
didn't talk about on the air yet,
yeah, we did.
by the way. Did we?
Talked about it in the last one.
Okay, good.
Get your shit together.
All right. I only had 2 hours of sleep.
No, yeah.
Excuses.
Excuses. Right, but we crushed the workout, and you ran almost 6 minute mile. But you couldn't
Almost.
remember that we did a
Almost
podcast
a
after.
6 minute mile. 6:13. I bet you we could do 6 now.
I don't know.
If we got better sleep and we didn't weight train for 2 hours.
Well, that's probably it too. But also, we'll do it again. We got to do it again. I got to run a 6 minute mile eventually.
You got it. Let's do it.
So
It's a good goal. It's done.
Yeah.
Remember we said, I was watching the podcast not long ago of the second one I think we ever did, and you were like talking about Joe Rogan and the float tank.
yeah,
And we said during that podcast,
gonna
set
do
the
it.
date, we're going to do it. We did eventually do it.
we did eventually do it. We could have
Plant
done it
those
faster.
seeds, man, because eventually, yeah. But
So
we
that's
did.
I think that's a good transition, right?
Setting intentions.
So at that time, when I first said we are going to do the float tank, I did the
Ooh.
necessary research.
Yes.
So I knew what to expect. Me and Matt talked about this. Yesterday. We try to hang the mailboxes outside
Yeah.
because shout out to Big Matt Ryan for getting tenants upstairs. Let's
Yes.
go.
Dreams
First of
to
many.
fruition. Yes.
The
Congrats.
screws we had weren't long enough.
Okay.
Non-issue. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Ah, shit, that means we can't do it." And I was like, "Yeah, it does mean we can't do it, but look at what you just realized. You realize it's going to take you 5 minutes to do this. 5 minutes max.
Yeah.
If you realized it was going to take you 4 hours to paint that room, it'd be done by now. If you realized it was going to take you 2 hours to go get your tree, get it inside, get it decorated, be done by now.
Yeah.
Do the planning.
So it's called the spotlight effect.
Here we
It's
go.
a cognitive bias. here we go. Let's steal my thunder.
Here we go.
We make things bigger in our heads than they actually are.
Right.
Typically.
So my thing is, if your New Year's resolution is to save more money,
Yeah.
right? Go download Acorns right now. Acorns is an app that every single time that you use your debit card, it'll take the spare change. So if you purchase something that's $1.01, it'll take 99 cents, round up to the next dollar, and put that 99 cents into your account.
Yeah.
I have had it
which
for
is
a
an
year.
investment account.
I have $800 in there right now.
Nice.
I've had it for a year, and I do not do anything.
So-
Actually, I do. I put $15 a week extra in.
Good for you, man.
But I have $800 that I've made in 1 year.
I love it. So it's
Acorns.
important to tell everyone that that's an investment account
Yes.
because isn't there like a risk associated? Like
There
you
is.
can pick your risk
You can
aversion.
pick, you can do like,
and then they have algorithms that
Yep.
pick.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Love it. Betterment is another company that does
Betterment,
that.
yep.
I think that's huge. Honestly, if you spend more money than you make, you'll always be poor.
but my thing is, so if somebody's saying, I want to spend more money, I want to make more,
Save
save
more
more money,
Yeah.
do the necessary research.
It's Freudian slip right there. I want to make and spend more money.
I want to spend more money.
Yeah.
Trust me. I made more and I spent more last
yeah.
year. Trust me. I learned my lesson.
So if
But
you want to save more money, yeah.
if you want to do anything, figure out
what the first step is.
what the first step is.
And
Figure
take it.
out how to do it.
Yeah.
Because having a New Year's resolution is like having... I feel like so many people assume that, fuck, I made a New Year's resolution and that's it.
Yeah.
Now I just have to do it. But like, you've had to do it all along. And you're still going to have to do it. It's just a day you're picking to do it. Fine.
Yeah.
Take that day. But make sure you do all the necessary research because your goals don't give a fuck that you wanted to do it on New Year's.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No. Nor
The
does
world doesn't care.
Nor does the world, yeah.
So you have to care more.
Yeah.
I'm fired up.
You are. I like it. I like it.
I don't know, man. This one,
It gets to you.
it does.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because you see other people that are not following through and you
No.
wish that they would, or do you think it's because you haven't followed through?
Definitely that too.
That,
That
yeah.
too.
I
But
sense
it's
a little
also
bit of
but it's
that.
also because I've had a lot of things that I've done this year that I
Could've
never
done.
I could have done,
Yeah.
but I also never thought I would do.
Okay.
I never thought this was going to be a thing. This whole podcasting, never thought this was going to be a thing.
Interesting.
Because when we first started it, I struck while the iron was hot. I bought all this stuff.
You did.
I did all the research.
But I think you also have developed the level of self-discipline where that seems easy. Nate and I are peak performance partners. We talk every other week. We haven't in a while. And if Nate, you're listening, I apologize. I'm going to give you a call soon. But we talk about this. He's always like,
Nate's in Hawaii right now, I think.
"Are you kidding me?
I think he sent me a snap from Hawaii today.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty serious.
Things must be going well.
I hope so.
I hope so too,
Big-
man.
big
Him
shout
and
out to Big
Francis
Nate.
are awesome. I try to. She's doing great things too. On Francis Elizabeth, I think is her handle.
I don't know.
Fitness stuff. She's killing it. Anyways, so Nate and I talk about this all the time. It's like we've developed fairly strong self-discipline at this point. Where we're at the point where we're not trying to get ourselves to do stuff. We can do stuff. It's making sure we're doing the right stuff.
Right.
Making sure the main thing stays the main thing based on your goals and dreams. Because when you're up for 16, 17 hours and you're pretty much working all 17 of those, when you get to the point where you're actually putting in the reps for all 17 of those, you get to the point where it's like, okay, well now it's time to work smarter. So I think most people's problem, especially people who struggle with this New Year's resolution thing, and I'm not being arrogant here, this is the truth because I've been there, is just starting is hard.
Yeah.
Whereas, Kevin, you are the type of person who doesn't really struggle that much to get started.
Not true, man.
Because you've created self-discipline.
It depends. If it's something new.
Your muscle, if this bicep was self-discipline, Kevin would have a huge bicep compared to most people. I know because I look around.
Right.
It's true.
I agree that.
When it
but
comes
I'm
to
saying,
certain things, though, I think you probably
Right.
hold back
Right.
or pull your punches.
Right.
And I think that's what people need to focus on is like, if I'm not following through on something, if I really do want something and I'm not following through, really dissect, like, why is
Right.
that? Like, what am I afraid of?
Right.
Go there.
And if
what am
you're
I really
spending-
afraid of?
It-
Yeah.
Go ahead, go, keep going.
Maybe you're
good.
afraid of being successful.
Right.
Maybe you're afraid of at the end of the day, it comes down to some part of you associates more pain than pleasure to doing that thing. You know, maybe you think it's bigger than it is. Like, for example, the mailbox. Now you know it's going to be 5 minutes.
Right.
Whereas in his head, maybe it's like, oh,
That was 2
It's going
weeks.
to be a whole thing.
It was
yeah,
2 weeks of
yeah.
whatever.
But diving in is what took him to realize that it's going to be 5 minutes.
Right.
Now he's going to follow through. That's the activation energy. It takes less now. I think that people need to chunk it down enough to where, first, figure out why you're not following through. And maybe it is because you're making it bigger than it is.
Right.
Or maybe you need to make it into smaller steps. Right? And so figure out why you're not following through and then start there. And I bet you it's a subconscious, it's a part of you that's wired maybe unideally.
We always say don't feed the machine. Like that's something you and I say to each other. Don't feed the machine. The machine is that thing that tells you it's too cold, it's too early, you can't do it, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough.
Don't feed the machine.
Don't feed the machine. Another thing, sleep with your excuses. Figure if you're making a fucking excuse and you know it's an excuse and you do know it's an excuse, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure you do.
Yeah.
If it is, sleep with it. Wake up with it, look that thing in the eyes,
Yeah.
and kick that thing out of your fucking life.
Acknowledge it.
That's
Because
it.
as soon as you put it right in front of you and you realize this is just an excuse, there's
Yeah.
no reason.
You can get rid of it. And guess what?
You can get rid of
You're
it.
no less of a person for making an excuse.
Yeah.
You're no less of a person for realizing it.
Yeah.
You're going to be more of a
owning
person.
it, for owning it.
You're going to become another level of a person for being like, look, I made this excuse for so long, or I made this excuse because of this, but I fucking got rid of that excuse and I accomplished my goals.
Yeah.
That excuses are in the way of so many people's goals.
So many. And so Matthew McConaughey, one of my favorite actors of all time, he just gave a commencement speech. How much time do we got?
We're over the hour.
We're over the hour. All right, we'll wrap up here.
Yeah.
So he gave a commencement speech at University of Houston, and it was phenomenal, by the way. If anyone goes on, it's called the 13 Truths or something like that. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
did.
know. Yeah, Kevin hasn't watched
I
it
haven't
yet.
watched it yet.
But he will. One of the best speeches I've ever heard. And I watch a lot of speeches. I want to be a speaker, so obviously that's my craft. And he's a master of his craft. Wow.
McConaughey.
So impressed. So impressed.
He is handsome too. by the way.
And my favorite of all time, by the way, Steve Jobs, 2005, Stanford address. But second favorite is now Matthew McConaughey's. And these are not my favorite speeches, favorite commencement speeches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
take
so
it
everyone
easy.
knows.
Take it
Just
easy.
so everyone knows. But anyways, the point I'm making here is Matthew McConaughey says to own the fear. And in this case, own the excuse. Because it's going to increase your urgency to overcome it. Meaning, once you do really sit there and look at that excuse, you now are going to be forced to be like, yeah, I either accept that and don't achieve my dreams, or I find a way
Right, man.
to overcome this guy.
That's where I am right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, with what?
This everything.
Okay.
My whole life.
All right.
My whole life. I realize right now I am in the fucking driver's seat.
Yeah.
I am driving this bitch.
Yeah.
And where I stop is where I fucking stop.
Chose to stop.
That's it.
Yeah. Or maybe the car ran out of gas, but you can always go get more gas.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
The thing
Right.
is, so many people live their lives kind of just floating, just going where they go. Wherever they end up, they kind of go.
Yeah.
And that can be super scary.
Yeah.
But it also can be super easy if you don't think of these things. If all you think about is what's happening right now, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I can pay the bills. I'm not as happy as I could be, but it is what it is. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. I am at the point now where a lot of times I'm overwhelmed because I have so many things I should be doing. But I don't think I would ever want to go back to the I'm just going to end up where I end up.
Yeah.
It's hard work, man. And someday I have a lot of down days because I'm hard on myself. If I don't get shit done that I'm supposed to get done, I can be hard on myself. But I can also be hard on myself if I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
How much harder? You might not have to be hard on yourself if you're not doing what you know you're capable of. If you're okay with that. If you're okay with just...
But you know whether or not you are.
I know, and
you're
that's
not
why...
okay with that.
No, and that's what I'm
Otherwise,
saying.
you wouldn't be hard on yourself.
I'm saying there's almost more turmoil now in this life, in the life of chasing the dream, living the dream.
I think it's growing pains.
I know it is.
Yeah, it's necessary.
But for some
You're
people...
evolving.
Some people don't...
I can tell that you're in a growing pain state, and I'm in a harvest.
I know, you're definitely
emotional
harvesting. Give me
harvesting.
some of that corn, dog.
Yeah. I got you.
What else?
Teach
You
us
got
how to
anything
make
else?
giant
We're already
corn?
over. We said we're going to do an hour. We don't ever
Um,
stick to what we say we're going to do because we like to talk.
We do like to talk. Well, it's important.
It is.
And I think that you hit a really good point right there. You feel a little bit overwhelmed right now.
And that's...
within yourself.
Before you go off on a tangent.
Okay.
That's why I want to bring that up because... So, one of the things I'm huge on is communicating how you feel with other people because you never will know how other people feel. If I was like, dude, I don't think this being successful, chasing dreams thing's for me. I got this weird feeling in my stomach a lot of the time that I'm not doing what I should be.
Yeah.
If I just took that and I was like, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not cut out for this.
Yeah.
But I don't. I sit down with people and I talk to them about things.
Yeah.
I want people to hear, me and Alan are having a legitimate, open, kind of, could be uncomfortable. It's not for me at this point because I'm so used to just hearing the truth and telling the truth.
Yeah.
But I'm digging. This is me digging. This is me trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. This is me trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
This is trying to figure out what am I putting in my rear view right now? What have I overcome? What am I going to have to overcome?
I love it.
Hyperconscious. That's what being hyperconscious
I think
is.
that's so important, man, because people are seeing you do things
I'm out of water.
that they see you as a mentor. People that listen to this podcast, I'm sure. Some of them do and some of them don't.
For
but
sure.
I think that it's important for... These are very common denominators
I
of
know.
struggles that everyone has
Right.
in their own endeavors.
And I want people to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that being humble enough to say, wow, I'm overwhelmed and this is too much too soon. I'm freaking out. I'm trying to figure it out. I think that people need to hear that because if you think you're alone in the dark,
Right.
you're
not.
You're not.
You're
You're
not.
not. We all have moments of self-doubt.
Yeah.
And, I think that because of the way the world is set up, like Ryan Moore said in the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago or whatever. He said we're so used to seeing the polished product because that's what gets sold.
Right.
That we're not seeing the transition from like
idea.
Yeah, no one was recording Bill Gates when he was alone, pimple-faced in an office building, coding by himself when he had no friends and family. And I'm not saying he didn't have any friends and family, but he told me.
I spoke with him last week.
But he talked about how literally from 20 to 30, he didn't take a single day off. Not one. Like, seriously, picture that for a second.
Sicko.
It's, right? Like, not one. Right? He slept in his office building creating DOS. Right? And so you just think about that, and it's like, now he's Bill Gates.
Right.
But he struggled with all this. Of course he did, man. Maybe it was different. It was his own flavor. Maybe it was Rocky Road versus Bubblegum or whatever yours is.
Yeah. Extra chocolate.
Rocky Road, I think, might be yours.
Bubblegum.
No. Yeah.
The Rocky Road is mine. Yeah.
Rocky Road.
Yeah, Rocky with a chance of hurricane.
Yeah. But dude, I think it's important that you're humble enough and open enough to be honest that you struggle too.
Dude, honestly, I try to be very honest, and I don't want, like, even when you were like, yeah, but you're like, you've kind of mastered the just getting after it and like doing it. No.
No,
I do have that muscle.
Yeah.
When it comes
You've
to a
got
lot of things.
Self-discipline, trust me.
I do.
I'm not saying more than some people.
Right. But I also want people to know, like, I also have days where I don't want to get out of fucking bed.
Yeah.
I still have those days.
Yep.
So I want to make sure people know that.
I think those days are fewer than they used to be.
They are.
Yeah. And for me, they're certainly fewer than they
I'm
used to
definitely
be.
in something right now, though. I'm in the dip right now.
Speaking of seasons, so we talked about one of my favorite poems. It basically says, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same, meaning you are unwavering. One of the reasons I wear this North Star is because it's constant. It's the brightest star in the sky. It's unwavering. It's constant. It's unyielding. It never moves. And I want to be that way. Whether things are going horribly wrong in my life or whether they're wonderful, I want to be the same human. I know my best self. I want to be my best self regardless of the circumstances.
Right.
If circumstances dictate who you are, then you're just floating. Like you said, you're drifting. And I don't care if I'm talking to the president or if I'm talking to one of my students or if I'm talking to my mentor or if I'm talking to you. I want to be my best self. Do I always do that? No. Do I want to always do that? And do I always try to be? Yeah. When I asked you those 3 words that describe your best future self and you said caring, trustworthy.
Try again. You said, what did you want to bring to this podcast, sir?
Okay.
You did not ask about the future.
Oh, okay. Well, the
I know that's why.
That's the question.
Yeah.
So my 3 that I came up with not long ago, and this is from Brendan Burchard's book, shout out to you, were number 1, exceptional. Number 2, enthusiastic. And number 3 is caring.
Yeah. You're definitely enthusiastic.
Oh, thank you.
Exceptional? Not so much.
But seriously, like, pick your words. Choose who you want to be and be that no matter what the circumstances. Whether it's New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or it's Thanksgiving or it's Christmas or it's Halloween. I don't give a shit what day it is. Be your best self. And honestly, like, all of us are a work in progress.
Right.
So be intentional about who you want to become.
I don't want people to think I'm hating on New Year's either. I'm just passionate about this shit. I'm really passionate about being as happy as you can.
For sure.
Like,
I think you're passionate about being your best self and not just talking about it, but actually figuring out how to do it.
Because there's things I'm doing that I don't show people. Like, there's things that you and I have done together that most people don't know about. Yeah. And that's fine. No, I don't mean it like that. Yeah, we had sex. Yeah. Whoa.
This got weird.
No,
I'm kidding.
But you and I have been doing like some fear chasing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's things I'm all right with not talking about.
Yeah.
But I am living what I talk about. But I also have those days where I'm also living that darkness where you don't want to, you don't know if you can do it. You don't know if you're this. You don't know if you're that. Yeah, so again, if you're feeling that way, reach out to somebody. If you're unsure of why you're feeling that way, dig within yourself. But don't ever be afraid to reach out to somebody. You can always reach out to me, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Yeah. I'm always there for people.
There are more resources now to help you than ever before. For sure. But they won't do anything if you don't reach for them.
No, you got to do the work. Yeah. You got to do the work. I can give you every single tool. This is something that, this is a great job interview answer. If you guys are going to a job interview, I think this is. It might not be.
What do we?
But So
What do we got?
something I always thought, any single person can go down to Home Depot and buy yourself a hammer. That does not make the carpenter.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No, that's just the tool.
Those are just tools.
Yeah.
Anytime. So if somebody said, like, what makes you different than somebody else, I would just simply say, any carpenter can go to a Home Depot and get a bucket of nails and a hammer. Doesn't mean they're going to build you a masterpiece. You got to have the knowledge.
Yeah.
You got to have the vision. You got to have the experience.
Yep.
And you also have to know how to talk to people. Nobody wants an asshole building their house. I wouldn't say that in the job interview, but I might.
But I might.
But I think in closing,
Kevin has great analogies.
analogies, man, I love them.
like that.
I love them. As somebody says something, it starts to form. I start to see a picture of something.
Yeah.
That's it. Boom.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
I think in closing, I do not hate I do not hate New Year's resolutions. I want people to realize what they really want all the time.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe the fact that like they kind of sweep their hopes and dreams under the rug until like that day comes along. I think maybe I hope people become more hyper conscious of what they really want and why they're feeling the way they're feeling. And they kind of do like routine check-ins.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you change what you want this week?
So I have an analogy that I think...
I love analogies.
This is a super powerful realization that I had.
All right, we're going to do 16 more minutes.
No.
I'm going to get some water.
All right, sounds good. So this is going to be... So I turned 29 on November 17th this year. And I remember thinking to myself, like, it's my birthday. And people always ask you, it's like, oh, do you feel any different? It's like, no. But I also kind of do. And here's the thing. It's all in our head. So whether it's New Year's or Thanksgiving or Christmas or the weekend, it's perception. How you see something matters. In other words, imagine when you wake up on your birthday, you tend to just treat the day like it's the best day ever. I don't either. Okay,
No, me
typically.
either. Yeah.
But most people do. Some people have a birthday week. Drives me crazy. Right? Anyways, the point is what if every day was viewed by you, truly valued by you to that level? What could you do with that? Like, think about it. If every day you woke up with the level of vibrance that you do on your birthday, then what you could create from that place, that state, would be amazing. I just want people to realize that how you view something matters tremendously, and you can treat every day as that valuable, that special. Think about how special people view their birthday,
Right.
or how special Christmas is. What if every day was that special? Because honestly, it is. And if we really value it, I always say, if you don't hold value to something, you won't do what it takes to improve upon it. And so when you really find the value of a day, you don't want to waste it. You want to spend it with the people you love, doing what you love, and most importantly, improving who you are. Get there.
I want to tell people this. That's beautiful. And the reason I feel what I feel now is because of what you just said. The happiest I've been recently was that week or two stretch where you and I were getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning every single day, going and crushing a workout, getting breakfast, and then podcasting. That was the happiest I've been in months.
Oh, it was a great time.
Do you know why? Do people know why? Because I was doing everything I loved and nothing I
people
had
that
to.
you love.
There was nothing I had to do.
Yeah.
I got to do everything.
You got to do it.
That's why. That's the life I want.
Yeah.
That's my dream. I got to live a little bit of my dream life.
Yeah.
And I know you, what are you going to say?
No, but that, your brain, your emotions, everything locked in on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully Kevin did that long enough to where he's locked in on it. I've seen shifts in you. You are locked in on that. So no matter what, man, that's your new standard. You won't settle for anything less eventually. Even though you're not in a position right this moment where you can just do that every day, you will eventually get there because you know you've tasted the honey,
I
man.
don't want to not
you
be
know
there.
how you get one life. You get one shot.
One life.
And why not do, like, that's the thing. Get into the right rooms with the right people, and they're going to spark something within you that you didn't even know you had. And once you live and breathe that long enough, you're going to lock in on it, and you'll find a way.
I've said this a million times on the podcast. Maybe we have newer listeners that haven't heard it, but if your life was a movie, if you were living a movie, and I had somebody from another planet come and watch your movie, you know, you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, you smash your alarm clock, you go in, take a quick shower, you grab a fucking what are those?
McGriddle.
McGriddle. Look, I'm not hating on McGriddles either. They are pretty good.
Yeah.
But, it's not exactly the greatest thing in the world. So, you hammer that on the way out. You go to a job you don't like. Your boss is yelling at you. You're working 10-hour days. You're working 50 hours a week. And you're working Saturday. You're putting in a half day on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you watch this movie and this main character was miserable, and then at the end of the movie, I said to this alien, this is life. This is a lot of people's life. This isn't a movie. This is life. This was John's life. This was his week. This is what he does every single week. This wasn't a fucking movie. This is his life. They would think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? Why do you get up and go to a job you don't like every day? Why do you buy cars that you can't afford and then you have to go to the job that you don't want to pay for that in the house you don't live in?
Yeah, and the house it's crazy.
That shit,
I like
man.
that analogy, man, because the alien doesn't have any of the
They just
preconceived notions of what should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Even if you took a caveman or a hunter-gatherer,
that blows
you'd
my
be like,
mind.
Wait, why is he sitting in traffic?
There are so
like,
many
doesn't
days
he need to hunt?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So many days I think about that. I think about these things daily.
I really do want people to realize that we live in a very, very incredible time. There are dangers, there are fears, don't get me wrong. But like, honestly, when else in human history, if you were good enough at something, could you wake up and do only what you want? You know what I mean? Hunter-gatherers had to hunt. They had to gather.
Yeah.
They had to survive. Like, if you're LeBron James and you're just that good at basketball and you love basketball, you win. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You just have to play basketball. That's the world we live in, guys. Master your craft. Guess what? If you're the best at what you do, you will be well paid.
Just keep putting the reps.
Keep putting in the reps.
Keep putting the reps. Anything else?
I think that's a good place to end.
Anything else? Well, so I think this is going to be the last one before Christmas for sure.
Yeah.
Christmas is Monday.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to definitely drop this one Sunday. Got to drop this one Sunday.
I
So,
like it.
ladies and gents, I will wish you a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and all the other holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. I hope they're good. I hope they're safe. I hope you get to see your family, spend time. I also hope that when New Year's rolls around, I hope that you really, really do what it is that you want to do. Or I hope you do it today. Or I hope you do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or I hope you do it when you hear this.
Yep.
And I hope you accomplish whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Because we're all better for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Conversations Change Lives. Thank you so much for listening. Never underestimate the power of a great conversation. Stay out of the wrong rooms. Get into the right ones. And we'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
Happy holidays.
Oh, and I'm going to the gym. Bye.